Ever wonder how the very clothes you're wearing right now might just be a piece of history? How a simple hoodie or those coveted sneakers tie you to a global cultural revolution? Welcome to Henge Fashion, the place where fashion meets storytelling. Today, we're diving deep into the world of streetwear, tracing its journey from the underground scenes of California to the dazzling runways of Paris. This isn't just about clothes, it's about identity, rebellion, and the incredible story of how streetwear conquered the world. So, before we unravel this tale, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join us on Henge Fashion for more content that stitches together the world of fashion with captivating narrative. Let's embark on this stylish journey through the evolution of streetwear, the roots of streetwear, 1970s to 1980s. In the heartbeats of New York's bustling avenues and California's sun-drenched boulevards, the seeds of streetwear were sown. This wasn't just fashion emerging, it was rebellion being tailored, identity being stitched, and culture being woven into the very fabric of what would become a global phenomenon. In these urban landscapes, where the concrete met the surf and the skateboards rolled against the grain of conventional society, streetwear found its first canvas. Imagine, if you will, a time when fashion was dictated by the few for the many. Into this world, streetwear burst forth, not from the salons of high fashion, but from the garages of the youth who sought to express themselves differently. They didn't have the backing of big names, but had something far more powerful, a drive to personalize, to rebel, to speak without words through the very clothes they wore. It was here, amidst the clash of cultures and the roar of the ocean, that brands like Stussy took root. Sean Stussy, a surfboard shaper, didn't just see apparel as garments. He saw them as a flag for a burgeoning culture, scribbling his signature on tees and shorts, not merely marking them, but imbuing them with a creed. This era was more than just the birth of new clothing style. It was the birth of DIY fashion ethos. Youth, armed with nothing but screen printers and a vision, began crafting and selling their wares, not in fancy boutiques, but out of car trunks and on the sandy beaches where their tribe gathered. It was personal. Each piece carried a story, a statement, a stance. Streetwear was not just about being seen, it was about being understood on one's own terms. As streetwear's roots dug deeper, its influence branched out, touching not just the skate and surf communities, but also seeding itself in the burgeoning hip-hop scene, melding with its rhythms and rhymes, and embodying its defiance and vitality. What started as a ripple in the cultural pond of the 70s and 80s grew into a tidal wave that would wash over the entire globe. Crossing borders, the global embrace, 1990s to 2000. As the sun set on the vibrant decades of the 70s and 80s, streetwear was not content to linger in the shadows of California beaches and New York's underground scenes. Like a whisper that becomes a shout, streetwear's influence began to cross oceans and borders, embedding itself into the heartbeats of cultures worldwide. This chapter of our journey takes us through the 1990s to the early 2000s, a pivotal era when streetwear stitched its narrative into the global fabric of fashion, transcending its origins to become a universal language of rebellion, creativity, and identity. The fusion of streetwear with hip-hop culture in the 90s marked the beginning of this global march. Icons of the era, like Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G., were not just musicians. They were sartorial pioneers, draping themselves in the motifs of streetwear to express their stories, their struggles, and their triumph. Their visibility on the global stage turned streetwear into a symbol of defiance, a uniform for those who spoke truth to power through their art. It was a marriage of sound and style, with each beat and bar amplifying the ethos of streetwear to audiences far beyond the urban landscapes from which it sprang. Meanwhile, halfway across the world, Japan was quietly crafting its own streetwear narrative. In the bustling streets of Harajuku and Shibuya, a movement was brewing, one that took the foundational principles of streetwear and infused them with a distinctly Japanese aesthetic. Designers like Hiroshi Fujiwara and Nigo, with their brands Fragment and A Bathing Ape, respectively, were pioneers in this regard. They introduced a level of meticulous craftsmanship and uniqueness to streetwear, marrying the casual with the couture, the everyday with the extraordinary. This was not just clothing, it was wearable art, pieces that spoke of individuality in a society often associated with conformity. The 90s and early 2000s were a time of experimentation, of breaking down barriers not just between countries, but between genres of music, art, and fashion. Streetwear became the canvas for this crossover, a place where punk could meet skate, where hip-hop could blend with high fashion, It was during this era that collaborations, once a rare gem in the fashion world, became a cornerstone of streetwear culture. Brands realized that together they could create something that resonated with the diverse global audience streetwear had cultivated. The digital age, streetwear in the limelight, 2010s to present. As the millennium turned, the world witnessed the dawn of the digital age, a transformative era that redefined how we connect, create, and consume. Streetwear, ever the embodiment of cultural currents, rode this digital wave, evolving in ways that would once have been unimaginable. This chapter of our journey explores the period from the 2010s to the present day, where technology and fashion intertwine, propelling streetwear into the mainstream consciousness while preserving its rebellious spirit. The advent of social media platforms was a catalyst for this evolution. Instagram, with its visual-centric approach, became a runway for streetwear aficionados, a place where anyone could showcase their style, gain inspiration, and build communities around shared fashion interests. Streetwear brands, both established and emerging, leveraged these platforms not just to market their creations, but to tell stories, to build hype, and to create a dialogue with their audience. This was fashion democratized further, where the next big trend could be born from a bedroom in Tokyo, a studio in Paris, or a sidewalk in New York. E-commerce platforms, too, played a pivotal role in streetwear's digital age narrative. Limited edition drops became events in their own right, with fans eagerly awaiting the chance to own a piece of streetwear history. This model of scarcity and exclusivity, combined with the global reach of online shopping, meant that streetwear could maintain its edge of cool while being more accessible than ever. It was a delicate balance, one that streetwear brands navigated with a mix of innovation, collaboration, and an unwavering commitment to their roots. The cultural impact of streetwear. As we've navigated the currents of streetwear's evolution, it's become evident that this movement transcends mere fashion. In this expanded exploration, we delve into the profound cultural impact of streetwear, a phenomenon that has not only reshaped wardrobes, but also influenced the very fabric of contemporary culture across the globe. Streetwear's influence permeates various spheres of society, from music and sports to art and technology, embodying a lifestyle that champions creativity, diversity, and innovation. Music, the symphony of streetwear. Streetwear and music, particularly hip-hop, have shared an indelible bond since the movement's inception. This relationship is symbiotic, with each influencing the other's aesthetic and ethos. Artists don rap-inspired attire as their armor, while streetwear brands imbue their designs with the grit, rhythm, and poetry of urban music. This fusion has birthed apparel that's more than just clothing. It's a badge of honor, a symbol of allegiance to the beats that narrate the struggles and triumphs of urban life. Sports, the arena of influence. In the realm of sports, particularly basketball and skateboarding, streetwear has found a dynamic playground. Athletes don these threads not just for their comfort or functionality, but as a statement of identity and belonging. Icons like Michael Jordan have transcended their roles as sports figures to become trendsetters in fashion, blending athleticism with street-inspired style. Art and technology, the canvas and the code. Streetwear's narrative is richly illustrated in the worlds of art and technology, where it intersects with digital culture and contemporary artistry. Graffiti artists adorn city walls with visuals that echo the rebellious soul of streetwear, while digital artists and technologists wear these garments as they sculpt the digital landscapes of tomorrow. Streetwear, in this context, is not just attire. It's a medium of expression, a way to challenge conventions and celebrate individuality. The social fabric, community, and identity. Perhaps the most profound impact of streetwear lies in its ability to forge communities and affirm identity. It's a language spoken by diverse individuals worldwide, a way to connect without words. Streetwear enthusiasts gather in online forums, pop-up shops, and city streets, sharing their passion for fashion that defies the ordinary. This movement champions inclusivity, allowing anyone, regardless of background or status, to be part of something larger than themselves. As we've journeyed together through the vibrant streets of history, tracing the bold lines of streetwear from its humble beginnings to its current throne atop the fashion world, it's clear that this movement is more than just apparel. It's a cultural phenomenon. Streetwear embodies the spirit of rebellion, creativity, and community, shaping not just how we dress, but how we see ourselves and connect with others around the globe. At Henge Fashion, we're more than just observers of this revolution. We're active participants, weaving our own narratives into the rich tapestry of street culture. Our designs aren't just clothes. They're declarations of identity, crafted with the same spirit of innovation and defiance that has propelled streetwear to its iconic status. This is why your voice matters to us. Your ideas, your feedback, and your stories fuel our creative process, helping us to craft designs that resonate with the ethos of streetwear culture. So before you go, we invite you to join the Henge Fashion family. Subscribe to our channel, share your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going. Together, we're not just wearing streetwear, we're living it, shaping its future, and ensuring it remains as dynamic and rebellious as the day it was born.